The Girls Club, 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 The Girls Club. It's my club and I'm a girl, yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Girls Club. I'm your president, Emily, and it's like, I know I've been saying this for months now, but like it's for real fall now. The weather is absolutely fucking perfect. Honestly, actually, I could use like 2 to 5 degrees cooler, but for the most part, it's feeling good. It makes me want to fucking sniff apples and fucking shove pumpkin spice up my asshole. Honestly, it's just like, it's so perfect. So I hope that wherever you are, it's cooling down a bit and it's starting to feel like fall. I have pumpkins at my front door, like multiple, not just concrete anymore. There's 2 more pumpkins that have been added to the little family. So really excited about that. And yeah, it's just fall good vibes, y'all. It's like, it's fall. So happy fall, y'all. If you're new here, welcome to the Girls Club. I love you.
Thank you for everything. I love you.
And if you're an OG, welcome back. Regardless, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not yet. I would very, very much appreciate that. Wow, that felt weird. Like to start the club meeting and be like, "Oh, like and subscribe this video." I didn't love that. It felt very awkward. But apparently, if you say that, it helps increase the chances of people actually doing so. So I'm very excited about that, and hopefully, I will get more subscribers from just saying that. Because my goal is to conquer YouTube and furthermore the universe at large. I'm trying to girl boss all the way to the sun. I'm trying to be like Icarus, fly up there with my wax-coated wings and melt, die, learn a lesson, and come back a better person. The issue is I don't need to die to learn lessons. You know, I feel like just existing in the world that we live in right now is just nonstop lesson learning. So yeah, hope everybody is doing good. Quick story about a crazy experience I had yesterday. So I don't know what is the deal with the kids these days. I don't know what's up with the kids these days. And I don't know if this is like everywhere, but definitely in Nashville specifically. Marijuana is taking over. Marijuana is taking over the minds and the bodies and souls of the youth. Drugs is in the streets and people are going fucking crazy for the weed here, y'all. And that's on period. But really, like, I feel like every time I'm out and about, I'm smelling weed. It's constant. When I go walk on a trail, somebody is just like casually smoking a fucking joint. Whenever I am in my car, I can smell people in cars next to me actively smoking weed, which, look, you know, if you don't know, I don't partake in the devil's lettuce. And that's not from like because I'm like anti-weed or whatever. It's because I think I genuinely have some sort of allergy to THC. Because every single time I've ever done any sort of marijuana product, regardless of how much, I could do the most little amount of all time and I am actively vomiting profusely, like to the point where it's like I cannot stop throwing up. I am like literally down for the count, like crawling, the room is spinning, like it's so bad every time. So not really sure what is up with that totally, but that has been my experience since the beginning of time with that lovely product. And yeah, and you can't say I didn't try, because I did. I actively tried a lot of times. So yeah, but anyways, what I've noticed recently is the normalization of like smoking weed just like in public, which, not that I think it should be criminalized like at all, that's not what I'm saying, but something about being in your car driving and smoking feels like it should be illegal. I think it is. I think it is a warrant to be arrested if you are driving under the influence of any substance, and I think weed is included in that. But anyways, in Nashville, it seems like everybody's fucking smoking in their car driving around, which feels wrong. But yesterday I was going to the pharmacy to pick up my medication. That felt I didn't like that way I said that, so I apologize. But I was going to pick up my meds, and I was in the line at the pharmacy, and the car in front of me was a car packed full of girls who were actively passing blunts around, smoking them with their windows rolled down, just in the line at the pharmacy. Like, and their car smelled loud, and these girls were not smoking out of a pipe, or they were not smoking like joints. Like, it was blunt smoke. And if you are not familiar with that smell, it is worse than normal weed smell because it's like cigar paper basically. So it smells like a combination. Once again, I feel like I should not have said that. Apologize. All the weed is getting to me. But it smells like a combination of like tobacco smoke with weed smoke. So it's just extra potent, right? This girl is like actively like chiefing a blunt in line at the pharmacy to pick up what I'm assuming is drugs of some sort. And the whole thing just felt so fucking dystopian and like crazy, because I was just like, how is this like normal? And also, why does nobody else think this is crazy? And maybe other people did think it was crazy, but like they just didn't say anything. But I'm like, something about this feels like really insane. Also, I'm like, it's 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. Could you not like just wait till you got home to do that? I think that's where it gets me the most, because like of all of the things that you could be doing while you are driving your car, I feel like drugs and alcohol are two things that it's like maybe not the best idea. But who am I? Maybe I'm just some fucking loser narc who, you know, does no shit for shit. But something about it feels very dangerous. I don't know. So yeah, that was a crazy experience I had yesterday. How about you guys? Have you ever just witnessed somebody actively doing drugs in their car and driving around? Also, like, I hate when people are like, weed's not the same as, you know, drinking and driving and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. If it is impairing your fucking body, mind, whatever at all, you should not be doing it and getting in a car behind a wheel. It's the same. I feel the same way about like Xanax. Like, if people are prescribed Xanax for, you know, whatever, their anxiety, their whatever, that is perfectly fine. Do your thing. However, it does impair you if you take a certain amount. Even if you are prescribed it, even if that is like medically necessary for you, it's like, if the amount that you're taking is making your body feel any type of way, or is causing like lapse in your memory or whatever, I don't think you should be able to drive your car. And I don't think that's such a crazy thing. I think we've so normalized us driving these giant pieces of machinery. And in reality, these are like thousands of pounds of steel, metal that we are just like driving around casually and could kill you at any moment. So that's my hot take on that. Also, my friend who died last year literally died in a car accident late at night, and I don't know if the person who hit them was under the influence, but you know what I mean. So I have kind of a very like personal feeling about this, and you know, as somebody who like, I don't drink, I don't do any drugs, I just am you know, living a sober lifestyle. So for me, as somebody who is like never impaired, it's very like easy to tell when people are, even if they're like, nah, I'm fine, like whatever, like I feel fine. You are not the judge of that. And let me tell you, the way that your eyes are squinting and the way that you're like, you know, seeping into furniture and shit, it's not giving you should go operate a multi-ton vehicle at the moment. Trust and believe. It's like when people go to restaurants and have like 4 glasses of wine and then they're like, all right, I'm gonna head home now. And it's like, in what, an Uber? And they're like, no, I drove. And you're like, okay, that's crazy. Not only for your own safety, but just for everybody else. Because like, even if you're the world's best, quote, drunk driver, which crazy, you're still drunk. Hello? And like, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, do your drugs, do your alcohol, whatever. But like, don't get in a car and drive around, y'all. Put the keys away. Anyway, sorry, I wasn't trying to get like all like preachy there at the beginning, but I just thought that was crazy. I'm like, not y'all smoking blunts in the fucking Walgreens pharmacy line to pick up more medication. Yikes. A lot of shit happened this past week on the internet. God, what do I want to talk about first? Okay, I guess the first thing, because I don't think this will take too long to talk about. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with streamers at all, but recently I have gotten a bit more familiar with the streaming world because of, honestly, it's probably because of Vanilla Mace becoming like popular. I think because of her, and a little bit prior to this, because some of the like YouTubers and stuff that I watch also do streams. So like I have been like watching like VODs of streams for like a long time, but like I never really was keeping up with streamers who were not like YouTubers as well, you know? But I think with the rise of Vanilla Mace and like that like intersectionality of like TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, and her kind of like fitting all of those, it has also exposed me to a lot more of the streaming world, streamers. I don't have Twitch. I don't watch any streamers, but I do like to watch like VODs from streams, and I also watch Ludwig's like streamer games, and I watched QT Cinderella's like Camp Peak VODs. So I'm familiar with the characters, with the cast and the crew of the streaming world. All that to be said, last week a very famous Twitch streamer, her name is Emiru. She's really big in like the cosplay community and like the anime community. She's a Red Bull gamer as well. So she's like huge in the world of streaming. But I guess TwitchCon was last weekend, which is like a big convention for Twitch streamers to interact with their fans. It's like Twitch's version of VidCon, which is like YouTube's like creator convention where creators network and interact with other creators and other brands, and also it's open to the public. And I guess in the past there have been, you know, some issues with this event with people being parasocial freaks and weirdos, which is nothing new to the internet. But this past weekend, the streamer Emiru was assaulted at TwitchCon after expressing, you know, hesitation of wanting to even come to the event because of instances like this. And I guess in the past she had been like harassed and stalked and, you know, had issues with parasocial fans. And I guess last year at TwitchCon, somebody had like a stalker had shown up or something, and so like her security team like handled that, and I guess in the process of like handling it and removing the stalker from this situation, I guess Twitch itself told Emiru that like she couldn't bring her personal security, like that security guard, he was like banned from TwitchCon because he like assaulted the guy who was literally stalking her. So basically he was excommunicated from TwitchCon because he did his fucking job. So make that make sense. But anyways, I guess in Emiru's Twitch contract, she had to go to TwitchCon, even though she did not want to go because, you know, people are freaks and weirdos. And a lot of streamers decided not to go to TwitchCon for the same reason. And also in, you know, light of the Charlie Kirk situation that happened not too long ago, a lot of streamers are hesitant to go to these in-person events, you know, out of fear of gun violence, you know, and also just like, it's scary. It's like we're in this time where the internet has created such nuance with the way that fans have access to the people that they're fans of, and specifically with stuff like Twitch. What's scary about like streaming in general is a lot of, you know, streaming is, well, not a lot of it, all of streaming is like in real time, right? And so when you are doing something, when you're at a place where the location is known, that's really terrifying because people know where you are, and B, it gives psycho freaks a stage to pull something off when they know that they'll have a massive audience of viewers to watch it, i.e. like the chat, or the people who are watching said streamers. So what's so scary about that is it is creating opportunity for really scary, terrifying people to become, quote, famous for doing horrendous things, you know? There was a streamer, let me look this up, in 2016, Christina Grimmie, and she was an internet personality, singer, songwriter, YouTuber, and she was actually murdered at a fan meetup. So basically, it says on June 10th, 2016, Grimmie was shot dead while signing autographs following a concert performance at the Plaza Live in Orlando, Florida. What's so scary about being, and this isn't like the first time that has happened, you know, but that was something that made this whole like meeting your fans parasocial thing like real fucking life for people who were not just like mega celebrities. Like Christina Grimmie was also like a musician as well. Like I'm pretty sure she was on The Voice. So like she was like fairly known, but at the same time, like she was an internet person, you know? And so that was like one of the first real big instances of a stalker or fan or whatever you would call somebody who would do that. I call them a fucking murderer. Did that to like a creator, and it made like shit real quick. You know what I mean? With this Emiru situation that happened at TwitchCon, a fan basically like charged her as she was doing like a meet and greet that she didn't want to do in the fucking first place, but was forced to do, and charged her and tried to like, basically he like bear hugged her and then like tried to like kiss her or something, and nobody around her reacted at all. Not the other fans of her, not the security from Twitch, not anybody. Like nobody did shit when this was happening immediately. Like it took a few seconds before anybody responded, and then somebody came from like behind a curtain or whatever and came over there and got the guy off of her. And I guess that person wasn't even part of Twitch's security. It was part of Emiru's like personal team. So I don't even think the person who like got that guy off was even a security Oh, I guess he was security, but he was Emiru's security, not TwitchCon security. So regardless, like the people who put this event on didn't do anything about this. And all of these bystanders didn't either. Initially, like Twitch didn't put a statement out or anything. Like what had happened was Emiru put a statement out, and that is kind of what lit the fire under Twitch's asked to even say anything about it. And the guy afterwards, like literally just was like free roaming the event for like hours after it had happened, before he had gotten into like police custody and whatever. So I'm not gonna get too much into it more than that, because I'm sure you've seen it, and if you haven't, you can go look it up. The video is traumatizing to watch. A lot of people were underplaying it online, being like, that's not assault, blah blah blah. It's like, yes it is. Somebody coming up to you unprovoked and grabbing you and trying to kiss you is most definitely assault. Somebody intervening in your personal space when they were not invited is assault. Okay, I don't care how these fucking incel fucking rape culture freaks want to spin it. Like, that's assault, point blank, period. It is. And it's unacceptable, and it's fucking terrifying. And what's so sad about all of it is like, this is the just like the territory of existing as a woman on the internet, and just existing as a woman in general, right? It's like, you don't have to be famous to know how Emiru felt in that situation. You and I, regular degulars, have experienced that type of shit in real life, you know? Like, and what's so scary is like, if he would have had a knife or a gun, or, I mean, she could have been dead. She could have been dead. And that's what like is so like upsetting about all of it, is the fact that this guy was also like not even on the list to access this part of the venue in general. Like, so he passed through multiple like, you know, checkpoints of like access to even get there, and was still able to like get through all of those. And that's fucking terrifying, you know? It's like, what's so sad about like freaks like that, and just like scary people in general, is like, the internet is community for so many people, right? And so when meet and greet events and shit happen, for the most part, it should be like a very positive experience for everybody there, because it's giving people an opportunity to like meet up IRL, right? Like I talk about all the time with this, like how I want to create a community so at some point there can ultimately be some sort of like real life community building between women and queer people and good men and whatever, where we can meet in real life, like build friendships, network with each other, like help each other out, like whatever. Like that's my ultimate goal with my online existence. And so for, you know, shitty people to ruin it for the people who are really seeking community and who are like genuine fans of the creator and just want to meet them because, you know, they just want to tell them like how much they mean to them and whatever. It's like, it's so upsetting. And especially existing as a woman online in the space that she exists in, which is, for, you know, whatever reason, majority like male dominated, with the like interests that she specializes in, with like anime and video games and whatever. It's sad because like a lot of the men in her audience are just creeps and weirdos, and because that's just the nature of men. And it's just upsetting that like these people feel so entitled to creators or to whoever, just women in general. Like I said, like this is not something that it happens exclusively to famous people. This happens to every people all the time. But the fact that like sexual assault of women and just assault of women in general is so normalized, and violence against women is so normalized, that like people on the internet were not even like all in agreeance that this was fucked up and horrible. Like, we had people being like, this isn't assault, it's not that big of a deal, blah blah blah. And the fact that like that's even part of the narrative is terrifying, because it's like, what if that was the president and some rando just ran up to him and grabbed him, and nobody would think that that was normal. That's not normal. You don't go up to a stranger and touch them. That's assault. So like the fact that people can't agree on that is just further proof of like rape culture is just rampant in society. It's always women's fault. It's never like we're asking for it. Like, what was she wearing? Oh, she shouldn't have been there. She should have had more security. She. Instead of looking at the fucking freaking weirdo who did it and being like, that guy's the weird freak. So it's always going to be the girl's fault. It's never going to be the man's fault, And another thing that I saw on the internet, and then I really need to move on from this because we got the main topic to talk about, but was this like DoorDash thing, which is like the biggest spread of misinformation I have seen in recent history. But I don't know if you've seen this. So basically this video was going around on the internet, and this DoorDash driver was a woman. She pulls up to deliver food, and the customer whose house she pulls up to, their front door is basically like open so she can see inside, and the customer was laying on the couch with no clothes on. Like, he was naked from the waist down. And the driver took a photo to be like, hey, I was basically fucking assaulted during my job today, because again, that is sexual assault. You don't have to touch somebody for it to be sexual assault. Exposing, flashing, whatever, that is sexual assault. That happened to me a few years ago. A man was jacking off on the side of the fucking road as I was running and was watching me while he was pleasuring himself. That is sexual assault. I could talk about that all day fucking long, because that was one of the most traumatizing things that has ever happened to me. And whatever. But so people on the internet, she takes a picture, she reports it to DoorDash. DoorDash doesn't do anything about it. They don't care. So she goes to the police. The police are like, well, we can't do anything about it, whatever. So then she says, okay, well, fuck that. Like, I need to get my justice on this, basically. So she posted on the internet and is like, this is what happened to me. Instead of people believing the photographic fucking evidence that she posted, they start spinning this narrative that did not happen, that does not exist, of a video of her that she opened his door, that his door was shut, and she opened the door. Okay, mind you, this is a DoorDash driver. Apparently, she had opened the door and tried to get in his house, and his pants were down. So she actually was, sexually assaulting him by taking a photo of him naked. Let that sink in. The incel fucking freak weirdo men on the internet were more likely to believe that she did that than the fact that this man had his door open with his pants off and was like planning this, like that he was a flasher, basically. So they created this narrative that there was this quote video that existed that she deleted, that people, that if you go to this link, you can find it, blah, blah, blah. But mind you, this video does not exist because this didn't happen. She never did this. Okay. This wasn't real. This was false information in real time being spread by bots, by incels, by fucking misogynists, by people who don't believe in the Me Too movement, by people who don't believe that, rape happens and that like this type of shit happens in real life. It was being like massively spread by this. And so you have like half of the internet is on the quote side of the flasher, and half of the internet is on the side of the DoorDash driver. And what's getting like the craziest part about all of this, men don't believe women ever. I mean, look at the fucking Diddy trial, right? Look at fucking Donald Trump. Look at our fucking president. God damn it. Rape culture has got y'all brains so absolutely fucked the fuck up. Y'all are so fucking twisted and backwards with everything when it comes to women that y'all think, and y'all created this narrative that this poor woman who was exposed while she was doing her fucking job, that she went in the house of this stranger and took a photo of him with his clothes off while he was asleep on the couch taking a fucking nap with his pants off. Okay. Yeah. Right. So that was another thing that was on the internet this week that like actually pissed me the fuck off. I kept seeing people talk about it. This one creator that I always see, his name is like James or something. He made a video like talking about how, you know, he was like, well, it's just crazy that she would go in his house and blah, blah, blah. And then today he made a video responding to that video that he made and was like, hey, my bad. Like, I didn't realize that wasn't real. Like, I didn't realize that like the quote video of her going to like opening the door and whatever was not real. Like, I didn't realize like that was like a made up thing. And so that's the thing. It's like people don't even fact check shit. They just hear something and go with it. And that's what's so fucking scary because like in real time, we watch this woman get gaslit by the internet and we watch people paint her as some sexual predator when in reality she was a victim of a sex crime. Oh my God. Speaking of sex crimes, fun episode, right? I promise the end was going to be fun and lighthearted, but for now I'm just like too much crazy shit's going on, and unfortunately a lot of it has to do with the fact that the world hates women, you know. But what's new, you know? This bad girl, this baddie post on the internet this week. I went to a Sombr concert. I'm 25 years old, and that shit was the worst thing I've ever been to my whole life. We need to talk about this little back and forth beef that is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life that a mainstream celebrity is involved in. I've never seen internet drama between a regular and a mainstream celebrity as crazy as this, besides when Lizzo was trying to create beef with me when I had less than like 17,000 followers on TikTok. Never forget that. Never forget when Lizzo tried to start beef with me on TikTok. Actually, she did. Never forget. That was actually a crazy moment for me. Huge win for me, by the way. Huge win for me. I'm like, okay, so Lizzo is bothered by shit that I said that, mind you, never referenced her. She was not part of the conversation. She inserted herself. But yeah, beefing with Lizzo is like top 10 things to ever happen to me. That was awesome. Feeling good as hell. But y'all, so let's watch it. If you haven't seen it, I'm about to catch you up. And if you have seen it and you're tired of hearing about it, I'm so sorry, but we have to talk about this because I want to talk about a piece of this that I have not seen people really get into that much, that I feel like I can offer some new perspective on, I guess. So yes, let's get into it. Okay, mind you, this girl, when I first saw this beef happen earlier this week, or like last week, I guess it was like a week ago, when I first saw this beef happen, this girl only had like 40,000 some followers on TikTok. She is currently sitting at 94.2 thousand followers, which is like proof that when you get acknowledged by a celebrity, like you are now getting brought up the ranks to that celebrity, which is also, once we get into this, it'll make more sense, but like also reason for you as a celebrity to not respond to this type of stuff, because like you are coming down to the level of the regulars when you are directly responding to shit that people are talking on you. Like now you are existing within the normies, where if you would have just ignored this and moved the fuck on, this girl the video would have been here and there in the span of 24 hours. But it was not. So let's get into it. This is Meg on TikTok. It's Meganator __ on TikTok.
Hi guys, good morning, welcome back. This is gonna be a little different than my typical content, but I had one of the worst experiences of my life this weekend, and it feels like a disservice to the public to not share it, so here we go. I went to go see Sombr Sunday night at the Anthem in DC. If you don't know who Sombr is, he's a 20-year-old artist. He blew up online, I think on TikTok. He has a lot of hits. I like a lot of his music, a lot of people my age like a lot of his music, whatever. I was really excited to go see him. I don't really go to concerts that often unless I really love an artist. I was so excited to see this performance. FR, genuinely the worst concert I've ever been to in my life for a multitude of reasons, but I'm gonna explain to you why if you're over the age of 16, you should not spend your money on a Sombr concert. Let me walk you through my evening. We get in line, it's pouring down rain, the line's like a mile and a half long. That's all cool. Sold out show, Mother Nature, I don't care. We're waiting in line, and there's a group in front of us of like 4 teenage girls and their dad, and I wasn't scanning the entire line. I was trying not to get rained on, but I was just like, that's really sweet. They must be big Sombr fans, so their dad brought them to the show. That was red flag number 1. I'd say a pink flag, right? That was just whatever. First big red flag, we get to the door, the guy checks my ID. I'm 25 years old, mind you, so is my boyfriend. The guy looks at my ID, starts quizzing me like it's a fake. He's like, what's your zip code? Looking me up and down. I genuinely was like, what? I say back to him like, oh my gosh, I'm actually so flattered, like, thank you. He chuckles a little bit, and at that point gives me a wristband. And I was like, thanks. What? Like, I feel like I look like I'm in my mid-20s, and my boyfriend sure as hell does. My boyfriend behind me gets quizzed the same way. Like, what's your zip code? Where were you? Crazy. I get inside, and immediately I clock why I got checked on my ID. It is the closest to a middle school dance I've ever been since I was in middle school at a dance. The only adult in the room were the parents and then my boyfriend and I. It was thousands upon thousands of tweens running around like they were at a middle school dance. Immediately I'm pissed off. And these kids are plowing through, like, mind you, they've never been to a bar before. They don't know how to contain personal space. If they were adults, fights would have happened, fists would have been thrown, but they were just plowing through, checking shoulders, spilling drinks. Like, it was genuinely a nightmare. Like, you know what? Let's just get a beer, let's just hang out until the show starts. I'm still gonna enjoy the music, right? I still really love his songs.
Okay, actually, so to jump in real quick, so when I was in college, I was like obsessed with going to concerts. Okay, that was my shit. Honestly, like end of high school throughout all of college. If you knew me, you knew that almost every weekend, I was traveling to go to concerts. I was obsessed. Specifically, I was going to like rap, hip hop concerts. Like, that was my fucking shit. I was obsessed with, like, this was like coming off of the SoundCloud era, so I was seeing a lot of my artists that I was listening to like in high school, like they were like coming out of SoundCloud and moving kind of more into the mainstream, but they weren't massive yet, so I could still afford to like go see them at like cheap shitty venues in like Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, so I was going. This was like before Playboi Carti was big at all. Like, he was very small. Okay. I saw Playboi Carti multiple times, like 2 or 3 times. Trippie Redd, I saw like so many times, like, which now he's like nothing. But in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, Trippie Redd, huge. Okay. Topanga, bro, don't even get me started. So I was seeing him, Playboi Carti, I was seeing Block Boy JB, I was seeing I saw Travis Scott so many times, I saw Lil Uzi Vert so many times, I saw Kodak Black when he was in and out of jail. Like, I was seeing him when he would get out of jail. Like, that is like my shit. Yeah, I was huge into rap music at that era. Also, this was like the come up of like trap music. So like Migos was getting big. I saw Migos, I saw Drake, I saw Future, I went to so many fucking concerts, y'all. And I saw so many people before they became 21 Savage. I saw before he was like really big. Juice WRLD. I saw Juice WRLD. I saw all Lyrical Lemonade's crew, Ski Mask, Slump God. Like, I was in it. Who sings I got hoes calling phone? Why can I not think of it? Sheck West. I saw Sheck West before he was really big. Lil Yachty. Like, anyways, I was in it. All that to say, these venues, I'm assuming, are kind of similar to like what she's talking about, where it's like at a bar, where it's like a big venue, but it's not like huge, where it's like everybody has seats type shit. Like, it's all kind of just like GA and like maybe a couple of VIP sections. And a lot of the audiences of these artists that I was going to, because I was in college at the time, like I was young, were teenagers. And I can relate so heavy to her, because there was a point where I was like, I think I had turned like 22, 23. No, I must have been 22 because I was still in college. And I went to one of these concerts again, And I had this moment where I was like, okay, I can't, this is not for me anymore. Like, I am too old to be doing this, because the way that these kids act is like actually insanity. They don't know how to behave. And this was pre-COVID. So I cannot imagine how these like young Gen Z, borderline Gen Alpha kids are like fucking maneuvering through life, because like this was like people were on their phones and shit, but like TikTok was not really a thing yet, you know? So like the parasocialism was not as bad as it is now. So, and the kids were annoying then, is what I'm saying. So like, I can't imagine today how crazy these kids would be. Back to the story.
Cool. We go get a beer. In that hour and a half of waiting for the show to start, probably the background of 5,000 Instagram pictures. That's not an exaggeration. I mean, every single angle around us at any given time, it's Canon G7Xs and iPhones, and it's just like, oh my god, it was an Instagram fest in there. But alas, the lights dim. The opener comes on stage. We go, oh yeah, we get to enjoy some music. The opener for Sombr, bless her heart. I know it's really hard to sing to a room full of people who do not know any of her songs. She sucked. She was so bad. I was like, this is what it must have felt like for my parents when I was watching like Disney Channel in like 2007, and I thought it was like peak music, and they're just suffering through it. It was genuinely painful. The music was so bad. She was a terrible performer. She kind of looked like when you're pretending to sing in your bedroom in the mirror. She was doing like that, but on stage. Example: the corners of the stage, she would just walk back and forth. That's cool. That's fine. Every time she would get to the corner of a stage, she would pretend like someone was waving at her in the crowd, just to do this. Every single time, I'm not even exaggerating. I think she might have won a photo op from it. I don't know. But we were like, take a shot every time she waves at an imaginary person in the crowd. Then she would sing her songs, which was like a slow song, no choreography, just standing there, not out of breath at all. Then the second the song ends, she would talk to the crowd. She'd do that fake like, wow, how's everyone doing tonight? It was like, you're not out of breath at all. You're just trying to sound like a superstar. Whatever, you know, still not Sombr. I'll wait for my guy. Right? Cut to main performer. Sombr gets on stage. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I'm like, oh, finally, I'm gonna enjoy myself. Right?
Also, sorry, this is the last time I'll interject in the story, but this reminds me of when I saw Khalid before he became really popular. Like, I saw him when like 18 had just been dropped in Location, like in that album came out, and it was his first tour. And he came and played at this like amphitheater in like Northwest Arkansas. Okay, this man had clearly never really done any like sort of big venue show before, and he was incredible live. Like, his voice sounded exactly the same. His stage presence was horrendous. To this day, I talk about that being one of the most like awkward live shows I've ever been to, because like he had no charisma. He had no, like presence on stage. Genuinely, he would sing a song, stop, like finish singing, say something like you'd be like,
and this is a song about a time when I broke up with a girl.
And then he would start singing. Like, it was so awkward and bad. Like, so having criticism of artists is not a bad thing. Like, if anything, like, it's a good thing when people like post shit like this for the artist, because a lot of times, like, I mean, you have to have some sort of inflated ego to become famous in any regard. And even if you're an opener for a musician, like, that is like some people's like peak in their career, right? So any bit of feedback that you can get, even if it's harsh as shit like that, like, it's good, because you can learn from that and get better and like, quote, prove the haters wrong or whatever. But like, look at Dua Lipa. People dragged her on the internet because she was a bad performer, which she was. She was awkward. She gave nothing. And when you're a pop musician like her, when you're making music that you can dance to, and you're making music that people associate with going out and partying and having fun, and you're on stage looking like a stiff board, it's awkward. It kills the vibe. What did she do? She didn't say like, fuck the internet, like whatever, I don't care, like I'm better than this, like, like you guys don't know what you're talking about because I'm famous. No, she fucking took that, internalized it, and got better. And now she is like an amazing performer. She can dance. She like has fluidity on stage, and like, so it is within your right. And honestly, I think as somebody who was like a dancer and stuff, like, criticism is part of it. Like, judging is part of it. Like, people having critiques for you, like, that's just how it goes with anything that you put on the internet. You know what I mean? So like, you can do one of two things. You can take the feedback and actively try to be better, or you can be an asshole and be like, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm better than you, and have like this like complex of like, they don't know what they're talking about because they're not part of this industry and whatever. And you can never excel, and like, you can stay stagnant, and at some point, like, you're not going to keep growing because you've decided that you're better than criticism. So if you are a paying customer, you have the right to criticize the artist, even if you are their biggest fan. Like, I'm sorry, but like a lot of people were saying she was being too harsh. Like, I don't agree with that. I think she was a paying customer and was disappointed, and that's within her right. You know, stan culture has created this weird like parasocial relationship that fans have with their artists where they see no wrong in anything that they do. They could be literally giving like the most flop-tastic. I mean, we saw it with Taylor Swift, right? Like, her last album was bad, right? The lyrics were bad. The music was shitty. Like, it wasn't good. And even her biggest fans were like making excuses as to why it was so. Like, we saw QT Cinderella being like, it's a parody album and she's going to tell us that this was actually all a joke and whatever, because they can't accept the fact that like sometimes shit just flops. Sometimes people are just not great. Sometimes that joke didn't land. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, shit happens. So all the people on the internet being like, this girl was like way too harsh, whatever. I totally disagree. And, you know, I think that comes with the territory. You know, actors get the same thing when people leave reviews on movies, and restaurants get the same thing with Yelp. Like, you know what I mean? Like forums exist not to tear people down for the most part. I don't think that people are mean-spirited with it, but I think it's to give valid critiques of shit to help make it better, you know? So yeah, that's another thing I'll say on that.
First 2 minutes he's on stage, he makes a 6-7 joke. I'm not even kidding you. And all the tweens. I've never had such immediate buyer's remorse in my life. Like, I knew I was just in for 3 hours of nightmare fuel. Again, hopefully little me was like, you know what, this sucks, but at least I'll hear my favorite music live, right? Like, this is gonna be so fun. I left early. I didn't even hear my favorite music. He proceeds to make a bunch of niche meme references for like the 12 to 16-year-old age range group. And I only understand that because I'm chronically online, but every other adult in the room, including my boyfriend, is like, why is he speaking in tongue? Like, what is he saying right now? Just ridiculous to hear out loud. It was like brain rot on stage. And it was like, this is really killing the vibe a little bit. Just play the fucking song. Yeah, he did the exact opposite of that. About 30 minutes in, he cuts all the music and he's like, we're not gonna have the Sombr dating show. Raise your hand, come on up on stage, do it, call your toxic ex. Make sure it's toxic and make sure there's somebody who's gonna pick up. Again, all the tweens. We then proceeded to watch 3 tweens go on stage and call their ex. And then Sombr's on the mic like, plug it, bro. Oh, chill out, bro. I've never had such secondhand embarrassment for someone and felt such a deep cringe. Like, you know, if you see like something cringe online, you just like exit out or something, right? I'm sitting there, I was like, wow, I paid money to see this. Like, I paid money to suffer through that. It just got worse. It just kept getting worse the more it went on. He would make like super niche references to like 13-year-olds, but he would also say like super vulgar stuff about like getting his dick sucked. And it was like, so you know your audience is clearly 13, yet here you are. Okay. There was a moment in between songs where he literally just randomly went, bark for me, and you hear the arena of 13, 14, 15-year-old girls start barking, and then immediately followed up with, yeah, and daddy. All of that, and he wasn't even a good performer. Genuinely, it sounded bad. Like, he said he had bronchitis. It seemed like that wasn't the only issue going on there. It just doesn't seem like he knows how to entertain. He's maybe too young, maybe he has to grow into it. I don't know. Dancing was terrible, singing was terrible. He was the backtrack player of the most important notes, and it was like, okay. He had this weird moment where he like had a temper tantrum on his clothing rack, like there's just a clothing rack, and he's just throwing stuff around. And again, you know, like the 12, 13 year olds like, any logical like level person audience is like, what are you doing? Like, just sing a song, bro. And I had to leave. Because it was the most egotistical performance I've ever seen in my life. If I had known he was like that, I would never have paid money to see him. It was so embarrassing to witness. Like, he's up there just being like, I'm the shit, and also I'm the shit. And you're like, okay, all right, well, it seemed like he thought he was like role model vibes, you know, but he was so far off. Like, it was like you're trying to convince me that you're like this like crazy cool sex symbol, and you're just turning off the whole room. But not the whole room, because there were children who liked him, and I literally left. Like, I couldn't stand it anymore. Genuinely, I didn't even hear my favorite song. Sunk cost theory kicked in. I was like, I wasted enough time, money, energy out of my life. I just want to go home. This sucks. My boyfriend and I both left. Like, that was the worst experience of my life. The other 2 girls I knew who were there were messaging me afterward. And they were like, was that not like weird? Like, that wasn't good. And I was like, hate it. Absolutely couldn't agree more. I hate it. It was terrible. And then I get on TikTok and I'm seeing all these kids posting these videos. Oh my god, this must be on my lockdown. This is my generation's David Bowie. I saw a TikTok from the Anthem DC, the show I was at, where girls like recording it. And it's like, the kids are gonna be all right. No, cut that. Absolutely. Never in my life have I felt so much rage. Not even during it. Like, I felt rage during it, but seeing the aftermath on TikTok and seeing it be like, he's the hottest. You guys need better role models. You guys need better sex symbols. I'm so sorry. Slenderman, we're picking him. We're picking the weird dancing dude. I will insert the clip. He danced like Napoleon Dynamite. And in the middle of the concert, my boyfriend held up a picture of Napoleon Dynamite. I couldn't stop seeing it. I couldn't stop laughing. Cringe kid. Really cringe kid. Kid. That's the biggest thing. Like, he's 20, but he acts like he's probably 15 and a half. And it reflects in his performances. It was a nightmare. If you are an adult of any age and you enjoy Sombr's music, stick to Spotify. I would not recommend going to his shows. You will not enjoy yourself. It is not the experience you think it is going to be. That's all. Literally, I just feel so bad. I wasted my money. My friends wasted their money. And I don't want anyone else to be like, Sombr's coming to my city. I'm going to see them. It's not the vibes you think it's going to be. It's just not. Okay. Take care of yourself. Bye, guys.
Okay, so that was her first video that she posted. This is where stuff kind of starts derailing.
Hi guys, good morning, welcome back. I made a video yesterday about attending Sombr's concert and I hated my experience when I went, and I got some feedback. Some was good, some not so great. That's okay, court of public opinion, but I feel like the dialogue in the comments is getting a little off the plot, maybe, perhaps. And I kind of want to steer us back onto it and clear up something. So we're gonna do that. First of all, you music industry lot. I was unfamiliar with your game. You guys are fucking scary. You guys are scary and you're very passionate, and that, you know what, I respect that. But it is terrifying. Right out the jump, I want to clear up. A lot of people were in my comments roasting like, oh, twins don't like to attend concerts now. They're not gonna have fun. Never did I say that. Let's take a step back, take a pump, take a beat. The entire point of my video was literally me saying I had no idea that was the vibe of his concerts. I would not have bought a ticket if I knew. And if you're someone like me who's like 25 and thinks it's gonna be a normal concert, you probably shouldn't go because you're not going to enjoy yourself. It's not for us, okay? That's not me saying that tweens can't go to concerts. That's just, I had no idea this guy was like a solely tween artist. I had no idea. He didn't give me those vibes at all. Please spare me with the TikTok comments. The amount of comments I got that were like, oh, he's a 20-year-old, what did you expect? Sue me. I didn't think there was gonna be brain rot here the entire time. A couple baby jokes here and there I can take that, that's fine. But the entire show, you expected that? My bad. Half of my comments are like, I totally could have expected this. And the other half of people who bought tickets were like, thank you for telling me this, I had no idea. So spare me. Going a layer deeper. If you know his audience is teens, and he knows his audience is teens and tweens, he can't be on stage talking about getting his dick sucked. Verbatim, by the way. That wasn't like, it wasn't like insinuated. He said the words, this freaking mask would have sucked my dick. If we know our audience is 13, 14, 15, that's probably not the dialogue you should be using. I had someone in my comments that was like, barking's been a thing just because you're not online like that. Me not online like that? I know barking's been a thing. I get it. That's not the problem. And someone was like, it's not that deep, it's not that deep. Combined, it is. It felt like if you're gonna cater to that audience, and you guys are claiming he cares to that audience, he has to cater all the way to that audience. Like I know brain rot, stuff like that, but like I get brain rot. I'm chronically online. That wouldn't bug me that much. It was the fact that we're catering all the way to like children brain rot, but then also making vulgar, explicit content and comments. Like, I had moms in my comments that were like, let the kids have fun. I'm so sorry, Susan. If it was my kid, I would have been a little disappointed. You're like a Karen, but if my kid was in the audience and I heard, bark for me, yeah, I'm daddy, good girl, someone tried to suck my dick, like, maybe I'm a Karen. I'll be a Karen then, that's fine. Out for the people who are like, he's definitely a predator when you check his hard drive. I don't know if we can jump there yet. You know, that doesn't really quite mean that. He might just be a stupid kid. But you would think his management would be like, hey, like, we kind of got to pick one. You know, that's why I'm confused. I'm confused as a listener of his because the music to me doesn't seem like it's meant for children. Sorry, how can I get a dress for someone new? No one in that room got a dress for someone the first time. I was confused. Based on the comments I've seen and the people I've talked to, it feels like the fame's getting to his head and this isn't what his shows used to be. So to all you people coming at me, what did you expect? They said literally shows like a couple months ago were very normal and very good. So I don't know what happened in that time frame. I don't know if he needed to fill space or something and that's why the weird danger they had. Like, I don't know. But that is not all the vibe I expected. I just kind of expected to hear the music. Also, people who tell me like, you didn't look him up before you went to see him. I looked up the set list. I like his music. He's a singer. I didn't think I was gonna go to a comedy show. I don't know. Like, is that crazy? I looked up what songs he was gonna be singing and I got excited and went to a show. I don't think that's that insane.
Okay, that's another thing too with this new era of parasocialism and whatever is people feel like you have to be the number one fan of an artist or whatever to go see a concert. Okay, before ticket prices were like fucking astronomical because of like ticketing websites like Ticketmaster and SeatGeek and whatever the fucking Live Nation and all that bullshit, concerts used to be like $30, $50, and you could see like good people. Okay, so it wasn't until recently where you only see an artist if you're like their number one fucking fan because you can only afford to go to like one concert a year. And so when people are like, if you're not like, if you don't love him, like, why did you go? It's like, because that's what concerts are. And that's what they're supposed to, like, live music is supposed to be something that like you don't have to know every single song to enjoy, and you shouldn't have to know the set list forward and backward and how the performance is going to go and what little bits he's going to do. Like, it should be like casual, but it has turned into like, because of parasocialism and with the rising cost of everything and people not wanting to spend their money like as often on like live events, it's created this weird entitlement that fans have to their artists when they're like, they get mad at people for attending concerts who like don't love every single song, or they're not like absolutely obsessed with them. Where like before, when concerts were not that expensive, like you would go to concerts for an artist that you knew like one song to. And the fun part of the concert itself was like you got to experience other music and you got exposed to the opener who you didn't know and shit like that. So like, I don't know. It's just like the people who didn't know live music pre, COVID don't understand that like concerts were not always like a competition for who was the number one fan, like not everybody was fighting to get to the fucking barricades at the fucking very front, like a lot of people would go to concerts because they enjoyed music and they enjoyed that genre of music. Like I could not tell you how many people that I have been to concerts of where it's like, I don't know anything about them, but I just went because like a friend wanted to go. And I was like, sure, I'll go because I like music because I'm a human being. Like the fuck? You shouldn't have to be the like fan club member of this like group to have a valid reason to go to a concert. It's like the gatekeeping of it all is crazy. So for people to be like, well, didn't you know? Like, this is how he is. It's like, you shouldn't have to follow this artist on fucking TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all this bullshit to know how his concert is going to be. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to download these clips. I'm going to upload them into this video. They're going to play, and then I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about after them because I want to make sure that everybody has the full context. But if you already know this, you can just skip ahead to when I start talking about my take on all this. And I'll put the timestamp up here when I do start talking about it. So let's watch these, then I'll be back to discuss what I actually want to talk about. So BRB.
I had so many people that were like, okay, just this is not your vibe. It wasn't for you. It's not for you. That's the point of my video, isn't it? That's the point of my video. My point of my video is literally saying, if you're someone like me, you're probably not going to enjoy Sombr because it's not for us. And the comments became, it's not for you, freak. Almost like, that is exactly what I said. Only thing I do redact from my first video is how rough I was on the opener. I do feel bad. I'm really sorry for that. It was Demi Gabriella. Just not my cup of tea, okay? I didn't think she sounded maybe spectacular. I'm sorry. But I think that's because she was nervous. I looked up some of her music after people commented stuff, and she does have a really nice voice. Stage presence, don't shoot me. She does need to work on. I'm sorry, the fake breathing thing was true. She did do like the fake out of breath thing, and she did constantly wave every single time she got to the end of the stage. That knocked her down a peg for me. But I understand why you guys like her. I think she has a lot of talent. I take back how rough I was on her. That was bad. Sorry. That's really it. I'm not gonna go down every rabbit hole about every comment that was made. You guys are talking about other artists and tweens at concerts in general and concerts being 21 and up and all that jazz. That's all cool. It's all valid. I just want my point to be clear. For Sombr specifically, I was not expecting that at all, and I know a lot of other people were not expecting that at all. And I just want people who are buying these tickets to understand what they're getting into, which I think is valid. Guys, welcome back. Happy Friday. If you have a job or have ever touched grass in your life, you may not know that I've crashed certain corners of the internet this week. Little old me. It caused Twitter beef that caused a girl to get doxxed, and I've been getting death threats for the past 24 to 48 hours. So let's talk about it. It's also going to double as somewhat of a thesis into parasocial relationships and how unhealthy they are in our society today. Obviously, I posted a video about Sombr's concert, my experience, how much I hated it. I dissed the opener, I dissed his show, weirded out, didn't know it was a tween audience. You get it, you've seen it, cool. I did expect hate comments because I put my opinion online, and that happens when you put your opinion online. Some people can learn from that. I have posted political content, like really polarizing political content on here for over a year, and I've never gotten as much hate as dissing a tween artist online. And I think that tells you everything about the state of our country that you need to know. All of us need to put down the iPads and go play outside. Okay, open the schools, because something is going on and we need to fix it. First off, the opener, okay? I was really rough on her in my first video. I made a second video apologizing. Then she wrote a paragraph and a half in my comment section. I even apologized to her after that. She never interacted with any of my other stuff. I felt bad she took it so tough. Did I stand by it? Yes. I still think it was a really bad performance. I'm so sorry. That's my opinion. It was bad. In my comment, she's clearly really upset. All of her fans are like, that was so mean. She's so young. She's so new to this, whatever. And I go, okay. I apologize, right? I'm like, she's new to this. Hate does come with being a performer. She's going to have to get thicker skin. I'm sorry. But she is new to this. Let me give her some grace. I apologize 3 different times, right? Cut to Twitter. She's on there telling her fan base we ride at dawn. Weird as fuck. Weird as fuck. You can't take it, but you can tell your fan base to dish it out? Weird. You're lucky I have thicker skin. You should take some notes, because if it was somebody else getting death threats, you don't know how that's ending. You can't. What a hypocrisy. Crazy. Mind you, I checked the timestamps. She posted that on Twitter after someone told her I was getting death threats. They commented back to her under a video of mine. It was like, can you tell your fans not to send her death threats though? So after that, you go to Twitter and you go, I was unfamiliar with your game. We ride at dawn. Weird. And I stand on, I'm sorry her performance sucked. Sorry, but there were a lot of other comments saying she did fake waves at a lot of other concerts too. So it's not just me, don't shoot the messenger. I feel like it struck a nerve because there was some truth to it. She should just take that as constructive and move on, not subtweet a random TikToker for days. On to the role model drama. I posted a screenshot on my story on TikTok of Tucker liking my post of my video, right? I thought it was hilarious. I screenshotted it, put a meme on it. Hilarious. Hit post it, put my phone down. I have a job, so I'm locked in my job. I pick my phone back up like an hour later. I have an influx of DMs that are like, girl, you need to delete this. It's causing war on Twitter. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, they're sending hate to role model. And I go, whoa, I don't want that. Delete my story. Not even kidding. Less than 20 seconds after I deleted the story, I get another influx of messages that are like, I'm looking for a story that you posted. I was just wondering why you deleted it. Like, what was it real? What happened? Blah, blah. All from tweens, mind you, that mostly run fan pages. I reply to one girl. She seems so nice and genuine. And I reply and go, hey, it was real, but I'm hearing that he's getting a lot of hate. That was never my intention. All of you guys are taking it way out of context. Literally told her. He could have just liked it because I'm a fan of his and I complimented him in the video. But all these people are taking it like him liking it means he agreed with everything I said and he's dissing these artists. And I don't think that's fair. I send her that and then I go to Twitter, right? My first mistake. I go to Twitter, I search Sombr, I search role model, screenshot my story everywhere. And I'm going, uh-oh. They were threatening each other's lives on Twitter over potential beef between 2 random artists that they don't know. Are you okay? Are you sick? Do you feel unwell? And let me be clear, the like was real. He liked my post, and I liked him better for it. I thought it was really and funny as fuck. I screenshot it right away and sent it in every group chat I have. So excited. Role model, my king. I'm so sorry, that should have stayed a little secret. That was my fumble. I actually fumbled that. My bad. I studied PR in school, right? And now I'm in crisis management mode, kind of like Sombr's PR team right now. Hey! But I'm like, okay, I don't want role model to get hate. How do I fix this? I deleted the story already. Then I go back to my TikTok page. I post a meme. Which I'm sure a lot of you have seen. I post a meme, and the text says, and what if I said the like was fake? That's all it said. That's all it said. To be clear, it would have been really easy to Photoshop that if I wanted to. My. The messages that came after that one. Twitter flipped. Twitter became 3 fandoms going, we need to unite and get this girl's TikTok banned. I think you guys should take notes from this. Honestly, did you see how easy it was to unify? To just band together? Come on! But to summarize, for the past 24 hours, I've had not 1, not 2, but 3 fandoms in my DMs on any social platform they can find saying the nastiest shit. I get on Twitter today. I get on Twitter. First I had to search it, now it's just on my main feed. And it's like, this fucking freak, this 20-year-old freak has nothing to do with their life, so she's photo. It's such a unique life experience to witness thousands and thousands of people bashing you over something that's fake. And the one girl who asked me so nicely, she was an op. I found her Twitter account. She was like, the craziest part is I DM'd her and asked, and she lied to me. You sneaky devil. There's only one girl in the thousands and thousands and thousands of tweets. There was only one girl who was like, maybe she's just lying that it's Photoshop to save face for Tucker. And no one agreed with her. Queen, if you see this, you're on the right track in life. You got a good head on those shoulders. The rest of you, goofy. You look goofy. I had so many people messaging me. We knew it was a fake. The Photoshop was so bad. Baby, that's a screenshot. Hot off the press. Hate to tell you. There were people on Twitter being like, I know our king would never watch an 8-minute video. I fear he did. I hate to tell you. I was giggling. I was giggling with my boyfriend scrolling through comments of teenagers with too much time on their hands. It's just crazy. It became like an accidental social experiment for me. Role model, I actually am so sorry. Although he did like it on his main account, so like maybe he meant to. I don't know, you know, maybe this was supposed to get out. I hope you get some word of mouth and good PR and drive sales from this, King. But the rest of y'all, get a hobby. Final thoughts, let's not trust everything we see on the internet, number one. Number two, saw a lot of hypocrisy. The same girls that were tweeting like, let's not send hate to anyone online, were leading the charge of bullying me. Yeah, you don't bully me so much when you're 14, but that's okay. And to all of you teens and tweens that are threatening me in my DMs over my take on an artist, I will be sending them to the FBI. You will get your bag pulled at the airport for years to come. Okay, the rest of you normal people, stay safe. Have a good night.
I thought I was chronically online, but it's just come to my attention that there's a TikTok drama going around because a 25-year-old attended my concert and was basically complaining that there were too many tweens there, I was making too many brain rot jokes, and she just thought it was a cringe concert. And also she was body shaming me, and it's kind of started a massive body shaming hate train directed towards me on a lot of videos of me on the internet right now, which is, I totally respect people having opinions, but I am a 20-year-old artist, freshly 20, and if you're 25 years old and you're going to come to my concert and not expect people younger than you to be there when I, the artist, am 5 years younger than you, it's just a skill issue. I mean, also, like, the jokes thing, like, you have to have known about my online presence before coming to my concert. I mean, anyone who knows me knows I've never uttered a serious word in my life. And also, I make jokes for 5 minutes of the concert and the rest is music. Like, live a little, enjoy life. Every age, sex, sexuality, gender, race, everyone is welcome at my concert, and I mean everyone. You guys need to find problematic people to hate on because I am just existing. Also, I'm just going to give a quick tutorial. Also, I just remembered that I had a fever and bronchitis at the show she went to, but the show goes on. I will not cancel unless I'm on my deathbed.
Hi guys, welcome back. Well, I would love to be relaxing and enjoying my Sunday evening, but alas, I find myself back here. I had a state visiting family this weekend. I was slumbering so peacefully last night. Usually I'll sleep all the way through the night, wake up like 8:30, right? Something jolted me from my sleep at the ripe hour of 6 a.m. Call it intuition. I felt a disturbance in the force. I check my phone and I have a plethora of notifications like, Queen, wake up, he posted about you! Hey, that's amazing! Buddy, Shane. Can I call you Shane? I feel like we know each other so well now. You need a new PR team like yesterday. I don't even know if you have a PR team, but if you do, fire them, and if you don't, hire one. Because what a dumb play. This guy made a response video, essentially calling me geriatric for being 25 and addressing none of the points I actually said in my video. I just know your team was scraping the bottom of the barrel to find something to come at me for. And we landed on body shaming. The body shaming in the room with us, you would have thought by watching that I put out a 10-minute diss about how he looks. Like, holy victim. My 9-minute long video. 9 minutes. Only once do I even allude to anything about his looks, and I say he looks like Slender Man and Napoleon Dynamite when he's dancing. Sorry! Dare I say he tried to outwoke me? I don't know. I posted a video saying he's weird in front of kids and he shouldn't act like that in front of his tween audience, and he posted a video saying, I have a tween audience, and also you body shamed me. Why are you trying to get me canceled? He even said something, and you can tell it was an afterthought because his phone was like propped up at a different angle, so he thought about it after he filmed it, but he was like, any age, sexuality, gender, or race is welcome at my show. Okay. Who on earth was talking about that? What? Anything to avoid being a creep, huh? Starts out the video going, I thought it was chronically online, but apparently there's this drama. Immediately I knew it was gonna be some bullshit, because why are we acting like your management hasn't been deleting comments all week? And I was openly beefing with your opener all week, but you're just finding out about it now, right? He then proceeds to call me essentially geriatric at the age of 25, but then also says he's essentially just a little teenage boy because he's fleshly 20. He turned 24 months ago. Bro's acting like his birthday was last week. So, is your management 20? Are they 20? Why are they letting me talk like that? Then proceeds to say my main complaint is that there were tweens in the audience and that I should have expected younger crowds because that's his crowd. Ooh, let's pause. You know your crowd is young teens. You admit that? Why are we talking about getting our dicks up? We'll circle back to that one. Continues on to say I need to touch grass, and then touches astroturf, plastic grass. I don't know what that was, but it wasn't from nature. Definitely didn't address the death threats I got, and I would argue amplified it. Noted that. And at the end, kind of alludes to the fact that he had a bad performance because he's like, I had fever and bronchitis at that show she was at. Babe, I know. Maybe that's part of why it sucked. I don't know. Posting a response video and not responding to anything that was addressed may be a skill. I don't know. It's like a little impressive, but it's also backfired and your fan base is more mad at you now. Not even from my doing. This is all you, King. I want to know, like, personally, I'm curious. What was the straw that broke the camel's back? Why did your team feel like you had to put out a video? Were ticket sales declining? Were people selling their tickets? Was everyone online calling you a creep and a weirdo? Was it all the above? Ding, 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 ding. I don't know what it was, but I can tell you what it wasn't. It wasn't body shaming. Only place in the whole World Wide Web that thinks the issue is body shaming is his comment section. And that's because his management team has made that abundantly clear. I'll humor you for a sec. If the main issue here is body shaming, then why anytime someone comments about you talking to minors the way you do in your comment section doesn't get immediately deleted? Management's on top of that one, huh? Humor me one more. If you know your audience is young teens, you admit that, and you say, I need to expect that when I go to a concert. Why are we grabbing our dick on stage? Why are we thrusting? Art for me, yeah, I'm daddy, good girl. Oh, to children! In theory, sending your 4 million followers to my page under the assumption that I'm bullying you would work if they couldn't watch my video. The amount of comments I've gotten that are like, came here from his video, was expected to see a hateful video, but I agree with you actually, and I don't like him anymore. You did that to yourself. You shot yourself in the foot. Listen, you don't gotta answer me. Okay, I'm clearly not a fan anymore. That ship has sailed, but you do have a large audience right now that's wondering why you won't address the elephant in the room. And I think putting out a video, this is where the PR team being whack comes in, putting out a video that addresses everything but what people are upset about only makes you look guilty. I mean, you could have just ignored it and people would have written me off as an old hag that had a bad time at a concert and it would have been good. You took the time, you propped up your phone, you put out a video, and you didn't even address what people are upset about. I say his video proved my point too. All I said was you should expect young crowds and brain rat humor, and his video was like, I have young fans and I'm 20, so I have brain rat humor. Yeah, we were agreeing. Where I lose you is when you talk about getting your dicks out. Anywho, if you're going to send your team a note sheet about what your response should have looked like, I'll gladly do that. I think you really need the help. If you want to talk about a skill issue, that's a big one. We need to fix it soon. on your ego. You know, it doesn't give edgy vibes. It gives like insecure and entitled. It's not cute. It's not good. And the fake fan videos from your management company, lose those. Get rid of those. Those are knocking you down bad. Answer to your fans and be authentic, because that last one wasn't it. Okay, bye guys. Have a good night.
Okay, welcome back. Now that you are up to speed on everything, let's talk about what I actually wanted to talk about from all of this that I have not seen a lot of people discuss, which is the fact that we are living in a time that has never existed pre the internet, and even more specifically pre-social media, where children and adults day to day are interacting with one another all the time. And what do I mean by that? So pre-social media and pre the internet, the only spaces where minors would interact with adults would be their teachers, their coaches, their doctors, their, aunts and uncles, their parents' friends, their parents, their, I don't know, like tutor, like whatever. So adult and children interacting was always from a mentor-mentee kind of relationship, or it was a person of authority, or it was like a trusted, guardian. It was never in a friendly manner or in a relatable context for a normal relationship between a child and an adult, because that is how it should be, because as an adult, you have nothing in common with a child and vice versa. However, with the adoption of the internet, and specifically with how unregulated the internet is when it comes to content that's posted, and also when it comes to like users, because there are age restrictions on stuff, but it's not regulated properly because it's nearly impossible, because the internet at large is kind of unregulated, is unregulatable. It can't be regulated. Girl, I don't know what the fuck. I'm trying to use big words and I'm a dumb bitch. So let's just pull it back. So, there's things in place where it's like, you must be older than 13. But if you're under 13 or you're between 13 and 16, you don't have proof of that. Like, I mean, we talked about this kind of it was like a couple club meetings back. We were talking about like regulation around like accounts on the internet where you don't have like a profile picture or a username and they're just like anonymous, and like how that's scary because there's no accountability. I mean, because it's impossible to regulate without asking for IDs. Okay. Even if that was a thing, like children, like minors still use the internet, and like you don't have to get a driver's license. So like, how would you prove, you know what I'm saying? So there's no way to prove your age really. It's all just like, do you say that you're under this age? Okay. So nearly anybody can have social media. If you know how to log into something, you can create a social media account, right? So what that has done is it's created a environment in which minors are being exposed to adults and vice versa every day. Like every time you get on the internet, I guarantee you, specifically on social medias, you are probably going to come across something that contains a child in it, which when I say child, I mean anybody 18 years old or younger. Well, I guess under 18 is technically a child, but 18 in my brain is still a child. Honestly, 23 in my brain is a child. So, but what I mean by that is you are being exposed to that the same way that they are being exposed to adults. And, a lot of people, the way that they like navigate this is as adults, they make content for adults, right? So the algorithm isn't pushing it towards kids. And so like for me specifically, like my audience, I have no minors who watch my content based on my algorithms, right? There is nobody in my analytics that I see on the back end of my YouTube that is under the age of 18. Okay. I know that for a fact. And there never has been, because I don't make content that would be appealing to a child. So why would a child watch this, right? Because I'm an adult and I have no reason to speak towards children or create things that are appealing to children, because that's not what I'm trying to do. However, there are creators who are adults that make content for kids. And that's not inherently a bad thing, you know? It's a very strange line that you toe, because, you know, the same way that there's like children's media that's like obviously not made by children, it's like made by adults, because in traditional media, even though there might be kids acting in it, like the people who make it are adults. So it's not inherently like a weird thing for adults to make media for kids. That's always existed. But with the internet, it is unregulated in a sense that, like, I mean, up until recently, there's been really no laws around like family vlogging channels and monetizing your kids on shit and whatever. And you know, we could get into all that, but that's not even where I'm going with this. Like I'm steering away from where I'm trying to go. But where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to say is, there has never been a time that has existed before right now that has made a space where adults and children interact on the daily, like whether or not you want to, right? So kids are being exposed to adult subjects and adult talking points and themes and whatever. And for the most part, like kids are not going to relate to that. So they're not going to engage with it, which is what we see with like my channel or like other creators that are similar to me. It's like they're not going to have minor audiences because they're not making stuff for minors. However, with the whole Sombr situation, what's very interesting and what like Meg in her videos like talks about is this weird intersection that is happening between minors who are following Sombr on socials and whatever, because he is creating this like TikTok brain rot-esque Gen Z-ified content because he is young, like he's 20. But by definition, that's a full-grown adult, right? If we want to get to the legality of it. The content that he's making is very chronically online. It's very, you know, niche meme references, like the whole like 6'7" stuff, the whole like making stupid jokes and like telling people to bark for you and whatever. And that is not inherently a bad thing. But what the bad thing is children are the prime demographic for those kinds of jokes. However, the media that he creates, the music that he makes, he is not making for a child audience. So what's happening is the music that he's making are for people who are his age or older, you know, who have had relationships, who have been intimate with people, who can relate to falling in love and having lustful thoughts towards people and whatever. So when he's singing, it is about like adult themes and adult topics. However, he's playing this very childish persona on the internet that is appealing towards children. And because of the internet and the way that it pushes content towards kids that is coming from adults, children have been very receptive of his online presence and are now big fans of his music and are attending his live shows, which I'm not saying any of this is a bad thing. Where a bad thing happens is when you are aware of your audience, which he stated in his video. He's aware that his audience are young and specifically that they are underage. When you're aware of that fact and you are making the choice as an adult to have these strange dating shows in the middle of your concert and to have moments where you ask your audience to bark for you and you talk about your dick and you talk about having sex and you talk about, you know, call me daddy, like all these things. It's like, that's when you are being inappropriate with the audience that you know that you have, you know? A lot of people I don't think are, you know, calling it what it is. And not that he is the only example of this, because this is like happens with a lot of online people, specifically like these young up and coming artists. But even if they don't realize they're doing it, that is a form of grooming. When you are talking to children and interacting with children the way that you would interact with adults, that is grooming them to think that that is normal, that behavior, that talk of sexual things in that like way of speaking is a normal interaction to have with an adult. Like that is by definition like what grooming is. So, you know, I don't think it's too crazy to say that he needs to decide and his team needs to decide what he is going to be as an artist. Is he going to be the Gen Z brain rot humor guy? And if that's what he's going to be, perfect. Stop making sexual jokes. Stop making music talking about sex. Stop doing this, because you are now saying like, I know that my audience is this. I am selling myself to them. I know that. So now it is wrong that you are being weird and sexual. Okay. So you either need to do that, or you need to say, I'm young, I still get the Gen Z stuff, whatever. But I realize that like I cannot act like a peer to these children because they are not my peers. Even though that they might find my humor funny and they might relate to this, I need to acknowledge that it doesn't matter, and you can still make your music the way you want to make your music, but you need to stop talking to your fans as if they are your peers, because they're not. These kids are like, even though that they don't know it, they are being groomed to think that this is normal. And he's not the only person doing this, right? A lot of people on the internet do this and they don't even realize that they're doing it. But it's something that we need to start calling out at large, because like, think about the David situation and the death of Celeste Rivas. We don't know if he was directly involved in her death, right? Like that's still unknown and whatever. However, the fact that a adult man was hanging out with a child, possibly starting at the age of 11, and that relationship was not questioned really ever, even if, you know, she, quote, used fake IDs and lied about her age, like whatever. It was as obvious as fucking day that that girl was a child. Like looking at her, you knew she was a child. So at the very least, even if people didn't know she was a minor, he was still existing in spaces and creating content for children, but speaking to them as if they were not kids and speaking to them as if they were adults as well. You know, he was talking about death and like romantic homicide and violence and, you know, falling in love and having sex and like all of these things the same way that Sombr was, and playing Fortnite and streaming and like making content for kids because that was his prime demographic, because, you know, of the internet. And so I don't know. I just think it's so important that when we see shit like this happening in real time, we call it out, because like maybe right now it was something that he was not fully aware of, which I still don't want to say that, because I think that's also infantilizing him and acting as if he can't, you know, use any sense of critical thought as to why this is inappropriate. But giving him the absolute benefit of the doubt, at the very least, he now has the choice to decide, what do I do with this information? Now that I know, you know, that people are feeling this way who are older than me, and, you know, he acts like he knows everything and whatever because he's 20 years old and he's a boy, and that's just how 20-year-olds are. Like, they think that they know everything. They think they're never gonna age. I was the same way. I was like, oh, you 25-year-old fucking hag, like, you're so old, like, whatever. I'm 28 now, and I'm like looking at him being like, you don't even know life. You don't even know shit. And I'm sure somebody who's 38 is looking at me thinking the same thing, you know? With all of these young artists and anybody existing in these online spaces, we have to hold them accountable, because it is a fucking wild, wild west of what can happen in these spaces and the access that adults have to children. Like, I've talked about this so much in all these club meetings, but it's so terrifying. And like, this Sombr stuff, I think is another example of like children thinking that they're more mature than they actually are, because I don't think it's really to their fault. Like, I think it's the fault of like kind of everybody on the internet for like normalizing, you know, kids being in spaces that like they really shouldn't be. Like, in all honesty, like, yes, it's partially on the parents to be like, hey, show me what's on your phone, like let me see what you're subscribed to, like whatever. Like, yes, that's on the parents for sure, but it's also on the adults who exist on the internet to know better and to say like, hey, maybe I don't need to, you know, dress like a child in this video and like have like fucking stuffed animals all around and like all this other and infantilize myself to appeal to minors, but I'm going to talk about adult. Like, there's so much, like, I mean, we could get all the way into like all of the weird fetish stuff that happens on the internet with, you know, in so many different communities. But I just wanted to talk about the Sombr thing because it was something that like, I think it's important in general to like call artists out on stuff, but I think it's definitely important when he's so early in his career and he has so much opportunity to kind of turn this around. And I think the situation was handled really poorly on his end by his management. I don't think he should have ever even like commented, honestly. I think it should have been like noted and changed to reflect in the like future concerts or whatever. But that was a mistake he made, and like, you know, whatever. But I also think that it's important to not just let this type of stuff die, because this is something that's actively going to continue throughout all of time with the existence of the internet. And so I think it's really important to start setting some precedent to these like fan interactions between artists and their fans who are younger than them, because it's just a weird situation. Like, because in the past, like, I mean, you know, I feel like the majority of the time the artist that you like is going to be older than you when you're a child, because there's not a lot of kid artists, you know. But before, there was no access that kids had to this artist besides like magazine interviews that they could read in like Tiger Beat, or like something on TRL where their like favorite artist was like performing live, but like they watched on TV. They never had like the ability to like talk to them and comment on their videos and, you know, DM them and create like fan accounts for them and interact with other fans who might be adults. Like, it's really weird and scary. But all that to say, like, I think it's the artist's responsibility more than anybody else to like understand their audience and to know like what is and what is not appropriate. And it's also our duty as people who pay to go to these concerts to call shit out like that. So like, I think Meg is totally in the right on all of this. I think that it's behavior that like should be called out. And I mean, I just think of other bands that were like big when I was younger that definitely like took advantage of their young audiences, like Lanny. I don't know if y'all know that band, but that was a big band for when I was young that we were all obsessed with. And then it came out that like they were fucking weirdos with their young audience and took advantage of the fact that it was a bunch of teenage girls that were obsessed with them, you know. And it's like, this shit happens all the time, especially in music and famous actors and whatever, but now more than ever with their access to kids on the internet. So yeah, shit, I'm doing that thing where I talk way too long in these. I'm so sorry, but I wanted to get to all of it. So we're coming to the end, but the end is still going to be long because we're doing a tier list. I haven't done a tier list in so long, so I'm very excited about this. I'll put the tier list up beside me as I'm talking, but here we go. Today, in the Girls Club Instagram, which if you're not following the Girls Club on Instagram, what the freak you doing? Go follow the Girls Club .pod on the IG, because every week I pose a question, y'all answer, and we kiki about it at the very end. So this week I said, monsters/TV creatures from movie and TV that you find attractive. And what sparked this was Smosh, which 2 days ago for you, one day ago for me, posted a video where it was Courtney, Chance, Arasha, and Tommy were doing a tier list of crew submitted monsters, and they were like ranking them on like attractiveness. And the way that like it pissed me off so bad because they were ranking them so horribly. Like the only person who was like ranking them in my brain correct was Chance, and all the others were like, no, that's weird, that's gross, whatever. But I'm like, but that's the point. It's like people on the Hear Me Out cake who they're like, they put like Danny Phantom as one of the things. I'm like, yeah, Danny Phantom is like canonically attractive. What do you mean? Of course, like just because he's a cartoon you put him on here. Like, so anyways, I had to do this on my own because I was like, I'm the rank queen when it comes to conventionally unattractive things being attractive. So I'm like, let's get into it. First of all, you guys are not freaked out, and I need you guys to get a bit freakish because I'm realizing that I am way more freaky and I don't like being the only one here. I'm hoping a lot more of you guys are freaky. You just like didn't see this or didn't interact with it. But the ones who did, for the most part, very tame answers. Okay, I said monsters / creatures and y'all were giving me real human beings. So let's get into it. And don't worry, I brought a lot of my own examples. Okay, the first one was Lady Dimitrescu. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's the girl from Resident Evil Village. Okay. It's a video game. Basically she's a giant vampire lady. Come on. She's literally just a beautiful woman. This is what I'm saying. So like, yeah, on a scale of A to F, it's annoying to rate her high because I feel like she's not like a monster. She's not like freaky. So I feel like if I put her high, then everybody else who is high is not going to be allowed to be freaky. So I'm going to give her a B tier. Venom. That's a S tier. That's a S tier sexy monster. You know, I mean, the tongue, crazy, right? And everybody's like, the teeth. It's a monster. It's going to have scary teeth. That's just part of it. It's going to be goopy and gross. Like, yeah, but body, T, tongue, crazy. S tier. The demon version of Sam Winchester from Supernatural. I don't think I know what this is. Bruh, this is just a man with black eyes. This is not a monster. C. Predator. See, this is what I'm saying. This is more monster. Wait, this? That's still like a hot person. Yeah, what the freak? That's hot as fuck. Yeah. S tier. Yeah. Oh. This is probably what it looks like. I've never seen this movie, by the way, so that's why I'm kind of like... That's a bit more freakish and monsterly. But the body, T, the body, S, but I think the face, let's go A tier. Because I can't really kiss his mouth. No, actually, to me, the more I look at it, the less I like it. I'm going to go B tier. B tier for Predator. Nosferatu / Count Orlok. No, I'm not a fan of Count Orlok at all. But I also am like, here's my thing. Not like the whole mustache thing. Everybody's obsessed with mustaches on men. I'm not really into it. As somebody who's dated somebody who had like a full mustache and beard, that shit is not fun. IRL. Like maybe from a distance it's like cute or whatever, but to make out with somebody with a full mustache and beard is actually really disgusting. And I don't like it. So Nosferatu, also his body is like festering with wounds and like maggots and shit. And I don't find him as sexy. I think his nails are really gross too. And all around not a fan. So I'm gonna give him D tier. Pinhead from Hellraiser. S. The issue is I don't know how, you know, his face would definitely be spiky and hurting me. But maybe it would be more like acupuncture and I'd like it. So yeah, S tier for sure. Actually, If Venom is S tier, Pinhead is A tier. A tier. This was one that I put in. Monsters from Scooby-Doo Spooky Island. S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier. What you're gonna find, what I'm into and what I like, is a very tall, gangly creature. I really am into that. So Slender Man, the Spooky Island monster creepy things, I really always thought that those were fine shite. So yeah, that's S tier for me. James P. Sullivan from Monsters Inc. I would like to lay on him. I think he would be a good cuddling monster, but in the way that he is like a couch and I'm on it. Not in a way that I'm sexually attracted to him at all. Like, to me, not into that. Also, I don't like hair. We've kind of established that. I'm not really big on the hair. D. For me, D tier, because I would lay on him like a beanbag, but I wouldn't be sexually charged to do a single thing with him. Randall, though, hot. Randall can get it. Everybody was like, oh, I'm so scared. Randall's scary. Randall's scary. No, Randall's sexy as fuck. I like his slimy body. I like how he's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, I feel like he's like dance for me. Like, I could play music and he would dance around and go crazy. I would give Randall like B tier for sure. Hot. Here's another one that I put, Old Greg. Old Greg, Baileys and cream. You want to look at my vagina, Old Greg's vagina, like, what y'all know about Old Greg. Old Greg is a bit of a gender bend, amphibious, slimy, British, non-binary queen. But I'm not particularly attracted to Old Greg, but I'm also not disgusted by Old Greg. So I would give Old Greg maybe C tier. Yeah, Old Greg, C tier. Okay, we're gonna do 2 anime references, and then we'll move away. But first is Chitu from Hunter x Hunter, the Chimera Ant arc. Chitu is a chimera ant, and what that means is he is like a hybrid creature who at his base is a bug, is like an ant essentially. Chimera just means it's like a crossbreed of like a bunch of different things. He's like a cheetah and some other stuff, but he's really fast, and he has kind of a goofy personality. He's a bit of a silly guy, and I don't know, he's kind of hot. And so I give Chitu a B tier. Very hot. Very like playful boy next door vibes. Next monster is Ryuk from Death Note. This is very common knowledge, very popular Shinigami. He is a monster demon creature. It's called a Shinigami, but it's basically a god of death, a demon god of death, essentially. Ryuk is a hear me out for me, and I don't even think he's a hear me out, because in my mind, like, he's attractive. Like, that is a man that I'm like, yeah, I would hit that. S tier for me. He's big, he likes apples, and he can fly. So yeah, checks all of my boxes for sure. I wish you would check this box. This was a childhood sexual awakening for me. Count Spankula from Codename Kids Next Door. I used to have dreams about this man. I don't know what's wrong with me. But Count Spankula, if you didn't know, was a vampire monster from the TV show Codename Kids Next Door who would punish children by spanking them. And I was a child and I watched that and I said, yeah, I'm into it. So for me, I'm gonna go B tier. As an adult, less into it, but as a kid, I don't know what it was, but I was like, that was like a sexual awakening for me for sure. I just wrote Satan because I feel like everything that I've ever seen the devil like depicted as in any form of media has been low-key sexy. And so I'm like, yeah, like I feel like Satan is like an S tier monster in terms of like hotness, because it's like he's always buff, he's always red, he's always like kind of like cocky, and like a lot of the times he's British. Like I don't know what that is all about, but like I'm into that. I'm liking the accent. Even if he has horns, like I'm not really that against it. If he had a goat head, I would not fuck with it. And if he had the legs of a goat, again, would not be into that. But I'm talking more like the humanoid Satan depiction that we see, where he's kind of like a cocky little bastard. I'm very into that. And he's big and he's red. That is S tier for me, is Satan. Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars, the big fat like monster that captures Leia and like makes her like a slave or whatever. I don't know what it is about him. He's slimy, he's disgusting, he's horrible. I understand, if you know what I'm saying. Like I'm like, I don't know what it is about that. I was really into that when I was younger, and like I still watch it and I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't know what it is, but like yeah, I'm into that. So I would give that like a C tier, maybe D tier, but it's not an F. Let me just say that it's not an F. The last one, Thrax, which is the virus from Osmosis Jones. And if you don't know Osmosis Jones, it is a half cartoon, half non-cartoon movie from 2001 where a white blood cell is a detective, and he works with a pill who is an aide in the investigation, and they're trying to solve a mystery inside of Bill Murray's body. And he's a zookeeper who really likes fried chicken. It was a hyperfixation movie of mine when I was a child, and I was like, Osmosis Jones, hot as fuck, but there's a virus in it, and his name is Thrax, and he's like a bit monsterish looking, very sexy looking, and for me that's A tier. So yeah, that is my tier list of how sexy these monsters are. So what is a monster that you find attractive? And furthermore, did you agree or disagree with any of the ones that I rated? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, this club meeting is long over on time. So I will wish you farewell, and I will see you in next week's club meeting. And I love you so, so, so much. Thank you so much for being here and sticking around to the end. And I will see you in next week's club meeting. Bye.
The Girls Club, 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 the Girls Club. It's my club and I'm a girl, yeah.